Are you looking for change? Discover the sacred archives and enter the magical university of life.
Are you looking for change? Presented by Janai Summer and Butterfly. Janai is a spokesperson for the University of Life and represents the guiding force of the heroine. Butterfly is one of the 17 Divanas and represents the guiding force of change. The text on the following pages in orange font are the words of Janai Summer, and those in yellow the words of an old student, but imagine them to be yours. Change is the key to change anything. Is not everybody looking for change? Probably. But how can I experience a different life? Have a different point of view and reference, and do things differently. And this is where change comes in the game, isn't it? Yes, and realize that universe and nature will be on your side. Change is one of the most amazing and consistent factors in creation. How much do I need to change? Change one thing and you experience definitely some changes. That was too obvious that changing just one thing will not be enough to experience a different life. Yes and no. Let's imagine that you want to get fit or you want to lose some weight. We all know that any program will have a changing effect. But after some time you're trapped by another routine and change and progress stops. In other words, you need to keep on changing or going with the changes. You answered before saying yes and no regarding just changing one thing. When you would be able to change your entire perspective on life and come from a different point of view and reference, everything changes instantly. However, even when that would happen, you probably still need constant reminders to stay connected to that point of view and reference, and you still need to adapt and change with the ever-going changes. So, even when I would have a different point of view and reference, why would I still need to stay in the process of changing? Your life has many stages and aspects, and there are endless situations. It is for this reason that you need to keep changing things in all aspects, internally and externally, and only then will you experience a different life. And this will guarantee me that I will have a different life experience? That depends. Let us be clear that this could not precisely turn out according to your expectations. Prior to this, you might first need to accept yourself, others, and all situations. Otherwise, you stay a victim of circumstances. To really change your adventure, you need to become the hero or heroine in all aspects and situations of life. That will not be easy, but tell me more about having a different point of view and reference. When you do it from your present and or adult point of view, the experience and change fades. Why do companies seek change, hire an outsider? Why is it easier for an outsider to give advice to individuals having an argument? Why do we imagine something greater and higher than ourselves when facing the most difficult challenges and situations in life? We need a different point of reference. But I have no time for all of this, and how could I possibly accomplish this? Just wait a minute, because it could become your new life adventure. In order to accept things, having a different point of view and reference, and making changes in all aspects of life, internally and externally, and becoming a real hero or heroine, all boils down to different information, education, re-education, or consciousness and awareness, so to speak. That makes sense to me. And now I do not feel so rushed and frantic anymore. Great. For you can take your time. It is like going back to school, but a universal school that never finishes, because it's part of your adventure and the change you are looking for. Life and your life is an ever-changing, magical and mystical adventure. Talk to me more about the new and different information or education. Now we see a lot of education while growing up, which is mostly about how to make a living, but little do we learn about how to live and deal with life itself. To be able to go through the challenges of life is probably wise to know how the creation, this world, the body and mind is built with, how everything affects everything, and how everything is regulated by the balancing forces of universe and nature. When you need to go somewhere, understand or fix something, you need a manual or a map, and for sure, plenty of guidance. I never thought about it in this way, but that makes perfect sense. We pay endless tickets and creating pain and suffering to ourselves, others and the world, without realizing this, and mostly blame others or complain about the adventure. This guidance of Creator, Universe and Nature is right within us, but we are not paying attention or interpret written and spoken guidance coming forth from faith or philosophy just to our convenience and do not make it practical. Why and how are we not paying attention? We identify too strong with the body, mind and world, and by doing so, we are right within it and have no different point of reference. So imagine life being a merry-go-round. To get some perspective and different point of view and reference, it is best to stand in the center, where it doesn't turn or turns very little. All right. But continue explaining about a different point of view and reference. Imagine life being a stage, full with actors, and you are one of them, but actually playing many roles with different people and in different circumstances. To guide yourself, it would be better to sit in front of the stage in the first row. Here you have a different view and reference. So, I need to stay out of it all, but at the same time play on stage, or to be on the merry-go-round? You got it! Life, when you understand how it all works, is a great magical and mystical adventure, with many aspects and endless situations, and in which you have to play many roles. Hopefully, you learn to play these roles well, like good actors do, and hopefully you realize that you are the director of the play, and as well that you are something different. You mean to say that I'm not what I think I am? Like I said before, when you think that you are the body and the mind, you will have a hard time to really find a different point of view and reference. So what is that? What is really me? That as well is an adventure on its own. But to start, you could imagine being something else. Is that not unrealistic? Call the world of imagination unreal and the world of body, mind and matter real, and nothing changes. Both worlds are just an imaginary world, a creation of your mind, transcendent and impermanent. It is just a choice in which and with which reality you want to play. Not 100% sure about this, but continue with the imaginary me. Maybe you are connected to a faith and belief system and believe that you are a spirit or soul, an eternal part of that eternal life force known as God or any other name given to it. Maybe you can visualize your true self as an eternal drop of light or a transparent light being. Maybe you have a spiritual guide, teacher or master, and visualize him or her inside of you or standing next to you. Maybe you can imagine yourself as a real drop of the eternal ocean of life. or as a crystal child of love. Come up with an image that is different, a different you, and which is looking at you from the outside, from a special place inside of you, and have a different view and point of reference. You need to have some space between the two. I can do this, and what's next? Now that you have a different point of view and reference, you can as well visualize this as the source of all knowledge and wisdom, and that this essence is the essence of the body, mind, others, and inside everything in creation. Is that not too far-fetched? You may not feel and be that source and essence in your present consciousness, but why not act in its name? When you imagine that this eternal force is in you, in others, and in everything in creation, you are connected to it all, and with that awareness you may deal differently with anybody, anything, and everything. You will think twice before you think, say, and do anything or not. You're making a point here, and this is called spirituality. You can call it spirituality, consciousness, higher consciousness, eternal knowledge, or something else. However, it is beyond form and name, and although everything in creation is created and sustained by it, otherwise it couldn't exist, everybody senses it. It is beyond the world of duality, time and change, and thus timeless, unchangeable, and neutral, and its essence shines through as virtues like total acceptance, unconditional love, forgiveness, gentleness, empathy, service without expectation, moderation, and selflessness. You can play with these virtues as well and try to connect with them, and you can possibly experience them when you come from that special point of view and reference. Just as spirituality is your inheritance, so is your universal knowledge, which is the knowledge about the world of body, mind, and matter. Speak more about this inheritance. Once we have completely claimed and connected to this spiritual inheritance, we can understand the real why and how behind everything. To go this adventure, you may have to find someone who has accomplished this, and this will be your individual search or soul search, so to speak. The other inheritance is universal knowledge, which is also inside you, and that contains all information how everything is built, functions, and is regulated in the realm of creation. In regards to this spiritual and universal knowledge, we can discover more and more, and this is called the basics of life science. The adventure of life, internal and external, is an ongoing moment-to-moment study and scientific project, and only through experience can we prove things to ourselves, and this you could call spirituality and universal knowledge made practical. This is the school before and after any other school. So let's get back to school and become that curious, creative, spontaneous, playful and adventurous child which is full of zest and which has even saint-like qualities. And let's start to deal differently with life. So how do I go from here? Now here you have another image you could work with, being your inner child, but a child that is still pure, open to learn, and which lives in an imaginary world. Now I can introduce you to the Sacred Archives and the University of Life, which is as well an imaginary place. This treasury will provide you with teachers, guides, information, variation, and inspiration, reminding you about this knowledge in a playful and fun way so you can rediscover your inner child and making sure that this adventure of change keeps going so you can experience a different life in all aspects. I can see the connections and have even a vague memory about this inner child. Nice. But the question is if you really experienced it. Perhaps you remember a little, but most likely you got too fast pulled into a very serious world reality. Almost certainly, most of your learning became about that world with adults who are all desperately looking for change. Hopefully, you were reminded that you are an everlasting soul, dressed up in a human bodysuit and equipped with a mind on a temporary adventure in the mortal creation. That you came without anything, and that you will go one day without anything, but that you have to take care of everything which is loaned to you while visiting. Were you inspired about the great adventure of life, the real treasures and mysteries? Without having these questions, you will not look or find answers. Were you informed about the indisputable, universal and nature's law that govern this foreign world, and that you will be paying the price not knowing them, but that you can use them as guidance with every breath you take and step you make? Regarding these laws, were you reminded that everything is created with opposites, is bound to time, constantly changing, going through cycles, has certain needs, has an order, place and function, and being individual and unique? Were you told that there is no need to compare and compete, that every action has a reaction, that everything serves you and that you need to serve back and care about these momentary gifts? Were you acquainted that everything is already complete, that nothing needs to be separated, and seeks balance when balance is disturbed, and that there is always more than you can see or comprehend? Was it explained to you that this body, mind, and impermanent world is made from mortal substances that have specific functions, having an interconnection to all that exists, depending on each other, and all affecting each other, and that they are governed by these laws? Were you made familiar about the faculties of the mind, that it is a great instrument to learn practical things through by the capacity of repetition, but when taken for real and operating under the sense organs and negative passion becomes your worst enemy? Was it shared with you that the power of acceptance and adapting are the real powers, and that there is no need to judge, and that you can experience life with unconditional love, being gentle, forgiving, moderate, and selfless? Did anybody validate that all knowledge lays already latent within you? Did anybody reveal to you that everything in the world is a reflection of your own mind? Did anybody enlighten you that all struggle, challenges, pains, and discomforts are guiding messages and wake-up calls? Did anybody told you that this knowledge is the foundation and basics of life, the school before other schools? Did you have teachers, guides, and coaches that confirmed all of this? Wow, can you tell me more about the Sacred Archives and this University of Life? The Sacred Archives and all you discover will keep you aware about all the things we have just talked about. It is a universal university in which you can study at your pace and choose any subject of your interest. Because it all takes place in a fantasy world, it all feels lighter and fun, and it keeps you in this imaginary world so you can deal better with the life in the other world, which you can also see as a fantasy. The 32 faculty members of this university, also called the Sacred Council, are magical characters representing the guiding force of Creator, universe and nature, and ready to assist you in any aspect and situation of life. You can call them your personal team of life coaches, and each one of them will help you to deal with anything from their point of view and reference. By tuning into them, you have not just one point of view of reference, but 32. The university has classrooms in which you can meet the faculty members, or you can travel to their respective imaginary realms. There are libraries with information on any subject of daily living. You can look at ancient maps to see how everything in life is interconnected. You can learn from conversations that took place between a teacher and a heroine in the making, or listen to soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. Integrate many self-healing ideas and study many more sources that assist you to look and experience life in a different way. How can I take this all serious? This information comes from a fantasy world, and it is not about facts and reality. Maybe it is better to not take it all too serious, so things stay light and fun. And we talked about the fact what is real and not. Call the world of imagination unreal and the world of body and mind and matter real, and nothing changes. Both worlds are just an imaginary world, a creation of your mind, transcendent and impermanent. It is just a choice in which reality you want to play with. And was it not that you needed a different point of view and reference? Okay, but how can I believe this is true and if it works? Realize that all written and spoken is based on concepts and descriptions, and all of them are incomplete. There is so much underneath, above, behind, and beyond anything. All written and spoken is merely a truth, than rather the truth, including all the information shared at the archives and university. Finding the truth is your personal, individual, and inner scientific adventure. I could tell you, believe me, that this way works, but believing is not knowing, so you must find out for yourself, and only then will you have proof. Last but not least, it doesn't have to become a debate about who and what is right and wrong. You just pick and choose and see for yourself. I got it. So remind me again how I can stay connected to that child and claim this inheritance of spiritual and universal knowledge. Discover the sacred archives, enter the University of Life, become a student for life, and discover how this world of body, mind, and matter is built and is regulated. Learn to accept life, the past, moment, and the future, and all its challenging situations, and learn to adapt and deal differently with everything and everybody. Get a different perspective on life and work from a different point of view and reference, and tune into the ever-changing adventure of life created with opposites and taking place in the realm of time. Learn to work more with the higher virtues and claim your spirituality and universal knowledge. To experience this, you need to live it, and you constantly need to be reminded. And the Sacred Archives is a great source that can assist you a lot. So start living your own fairy tale which is about a child going into the void, exploring new things and experiencing change. And that's adventure. The Sacred Archives is the place where real heroes are made. The process you will go through is called imaginative participation, to become active, awake and aware, playful and creative in every aspect of life and in any challenging situation. Now I'm looking forward to go to this university, and for sure the study material is with lots of visuals. I hope I'm not disappointing you too much when there are not a lot of visuals, because that is for your own imagination. However, there are plenty of stories. You can study maps and galleries. You can feel part of special conversations. You can find an encyclopedia. There is a museum with symbols, with affirmations. You can work with the days of the week. You can learn to make some home improvements or study the body from a symbolic point of view. So is it mostly listening to information? Yes. But you could also read, and this has been done for special reasons. Learning through watching and listening has its purpose, and you can read to others or let someone read the information to you. Often when you read, you can absorb and process the information better, or you can pause, look something up you don't understand fully, or reflect, and I even recommend writing things in your own words and keeping a diary. In the modern world, with all its communication devices, which has many advantages, we are unfortunately losing the skill of reading and writing, in addition to losing physical face-to-face communication. It all makes sense to me now, and I thank you very much. You are most welcome.